Yeah, I found him when he had only I found him when he only had 1,600 subs a few years ago, and his channel has blown up since then.
That's cool.
But as you guys can see, obviously it was my PS2 because look what's working now.
Maybe it finally croaked on you. Have you been playing it much today?
No. Like I said, I played it the other day and it worked. It gave me a little hiccup and a problem, but it worked. But yeah, today it was working again until Joe told me that I didn't have the shit on the screen, and I had to reset everything, and then I decided it wasn't going to work anymore. So I'm hoping it was just that game, and it's actually going to read other discs. I will test it out again. You know, when I'm not doing this.
Fight!
Yeah, as of right now.
Well done. Wins.
Maybe we'll get somebody. Probably.
Flawless.
You know,
Victory.
with all this downtime, I should have checked the donations again, and I didn't.
Fight!
But yeah, to wrap up on who donated, like I said, Sid Negan with $500, Drew with 100, my youngest brother with 120, my younger brother, the one who brought me he did 25 in cash. I gotta send that in. My uncle, one of my uncles, gave me 10. My mom gave 25,
victory.
and 616 Entertainment with a $20 donation.
Friendship. Friendship again?
Well, we thank each and every one of them for their donating.
Ian actually was here in the chat before you showed up. I wonder, he must have had to go or something. He was here for a good 10 minutes or so, but it is what it is.
Well, where is
Fight!
Casey was actually on the call before he said he had to go. And yeah, he said he's going to donate maybe next week. He said he's just too broke this week.
Fight!
And Compton said it all depends on how much next Friday costs.
Well done.
Like I said, if you can't donate, it's always appreciated, but never mandatory, never forced.
Flawless victory.
Hey, your brother said lower the game volume. It's louder than the conversation.
Fuck, still, I dropped the thing by 15 decibels. That should have been enough. Oh, you know what? I raised it by 15 decibels. That's what I did.
Use your good eye again. Goddamn, how many times I gotta tell you that, Rose?
Ah, fuck.
That's fun.
Negative 14 decibels.
So going forward, is Less Than Serious going to be a regular show or more of a every now and then thing?
As of right now, I'm planning on doing it every 2 weeks because I'm supposed to help take care of my friend's son.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm hoping to do it every 2 weeks, which means we should have an episode this Sunday.
Cool.
Okay, how does the audio sound now? Should sound a lot better.
Now, are you going to focus more on the video game stuff like Less Than Serious normally is, or what are you shooting for here?
Well, I mean, video games was always part of it, but we didn't touch on video games all the time. So kind of like what we did last week, last week being the Halloween special. I figured, let me dig up a Halloween topic or something. I want to run it as close as the way Drew did as possible. Obviously, the donations, is going to be missing because I have to live off the government. So unfortunately, I can't I can't have Streamlabs or whatever Drew used with donations coming in. Unless Casey wants to set that up and I can connect it to my stream, that's on him. But I know legally I can't do it. So.
Well, couldn't you do that? Put them toward the extra life for every year? This way you're raising more money for them?
Well, the thing is, I can't have the money go to me whatsoever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Have it go to Casey. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. That's why I said if he has to accept all the donations, I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
I can say it. Well, no, I mean, it's, maybe that money never goes to you, but once it goes to Casey, maybe he feels generous. And, oh, I forgot that I owed Rose $50. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Him remember that he owes money is like him remembering to take a shower on any given day.
Well, that can be, if that's something you wanted to do, that's something that could be worked out.
We do, but Tex and I do not need to get involved in that aspect of it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to take the callers like Drew did.
Wink, wink, hint. I'm not telling you how I would do this or anything, but so it's all good.
And hopefully, at some point I can get a webcam for my PC so that I could be on camera and, not the way I have to do it right now, but because while I do have the webcam on my laptop is not good enough for streaming, so.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's cool that Lesson Series is still sticking around, and I know that was like y'all's deal. It's nice that it's it didn't go away completely. So it's all good. I mean, and now you can talk about whatever and do whatever you want. I mean, whatever day you want. If you want it back on Tuesday or Sunday or whatever.
Casey said Sunday would be the easiest for him because he doesn't have to go to work beforehand that day, and then because I told him, I said I don't plan on ever running 4 to 5 hour shows like Drew did every Sunday. I told him 2 to 3 hours, 3 hours at the most. He goes, well, that's good. He goes, because I'd like to get a good night's sleep. He goes, I don't know if you've noticed, but yeah, I've been checking out early out of Derailed over the last few months. I said, yeah, I know, Casey. Kind of hard not to notice.
Well, and it's hard to do a 4 to 5 hour show with 2 people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even when we would do Derailed on Sunday, there would be at least 4 to 5 of us. So, like, one person knew more about this topic, and the others would kind of be quiet. And the next person would tag in. After a while, there's only so much you can put out before you're like, okay, I have nothing else left to say, so somebody else speaks, so I don't have to.
Right.
So, it's just one of those things. But anybody who's ever streamed before knows you're really opening yourself up and trying to entertain. I mean, that's the whole point of it. So, and if you're not entertaining, nobody's going to watch. So,
and I put a poll out there. I asked people too, the people that were watching, if we should start over from number 1 again or continue where Drew left off, and everybody except one person said that we should continue where Drew left off. I also put an option in there to cancel the show, and of course that got at least 1 vote, and I don't know who it was.
Well, it's probably somebody just trolling or messing with you. It is what it is.
I wouldn't put it past Casey if it was him.
He was so adamant with me even doing it in the first place, so. I don't know if you heard last week, Tex, but he was like, we really need to get Tex on here and join us and do this with us. I'm like, he said he wants to be like doing his own thing and take a break from the community, only doing things on Thursdays right now.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've handled it. Whenever Drew, decided I need to do what's best for me, I kind of took that same opportunity, and if Derailed was going to go away, then I'm only going to talk about what I want to talk about,
Right.
you know, I mean, if I'm not passionate about something or if I don't feel like doing it, guess what? I ain't going to do it. And it's, you know, I'm not here to offend or upset anybody, but hey, you know, if this ain't fun, it ain't worth doing. So, you know, I like talking about the movie stuff, and you know, Less Than Serious was always y'all's thing, anyways. You know, I was a small part of it. I would fill in here or there, but I never fit that mold. I didn't know, like the couple times where Rose, you and I had done the show when it was a video game topic. I basically just quit talking and I let you speak, you know, because I don't know shit from anything about it.
Right.
But,
I mean, you did pretty good with the color commentary that one night we did Mario Kart. You're just sitting there and just making shit up off the top of your head. You're pretty funny, actually.
well, that's because I'm good at shit talking. That's just a natural skill that I have acquired over these years. But, you know, I never wanted to overstep. I always thought that I fit better on the Sunday show than I did the Tuesday show.
Right.
It seemed like I was a better mold over there. And, you know, obviously Drew felt the same way because he plugged me in as a co-host on the show. So, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, I don't mind calling in every now and then, or like, you know, for Friday is Raw or whatever it's called. You know, I'm not against hanging out. I still want to do that or whatever, but I just don't want it to be an expected regular thing. That's my whole deal. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's understandable. That's why, that's why I picked my. That's why I pick and choose, you know, with Sunday nights when I wanted to come on, because if it's something I didn't know anything about or wasn't interested in, I'm not going to come on just to sit there and just be a body. That's why I picked my spots, you know.
And the plus side to doing the LTS every other Sunday, it avoids that burnout factor that hits everybody.
Right.
Well, and I think that's what hit Drew a lot. And I mean, obviously there was the shenanigans that were going on in this community, if you want to call it that. I hate that word, by the way. You know, obviously that contributed to it, and then also the just the wear and tear of constantly having to find news topics and everything else. You know, there were weeks where, we're talking about Ricky Martin's gay nephew. Who wants to talk about that? You know,
wasn't there the one he tried talking about Selena Gomez, and that's the night that J-Man waffled him?
that was Shakira. Yeah, Shakira.
Oh my God, there's fucking 4 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was like, that was.
I knew it started with an S and it was a female. I just couldn't remember who it was.
Well, it was funny, like, because the story was she didn't pay her taxes, and then Drew like came to me first on the topic. He goes, "Well, Tex, what do you think about Shakira not paying her taxes?" And basically, the only comment I had to say
5?
was,
Sorry, Tex. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You know, it was just like all I had to offer was a quick comeback of how taxation is theft. So that's pretty much all I had to say. Nobody else really added to it, you know. So there's good and bad topics. It's just how it works. It's what it is. So, you know, we were always a third-hand news source anyways. You know, if you were tuning in to Derailed, you were tuning in for our opinion of what happened.
Yeah, because obviously if you're going to see the news, you're going to see it somewhere else first.
Yeah, you're going to see it days or, you know, hours before we talk about it. And let's be real, none of us are geniuses or, you know, going to solve the world's problems over here. We're just a bunch of idiots that like to hang out and talk about stuff, you know. So, you know, you came for the personality and the back and forth, not, what does Frank and Tex and, you know, J-Man and Rose and Compton think about Body Dog. No, it is what it is. So it was, you know, there is a lot of burnout because there's only so much you can say, honestly. So it's all good.
Yeah, I think it was more for the comedic factors why people would tune in.
It was. Well, it was. It was it was a break from. It was the one show in the community that was different than anybody else. We didn't do the drama and the back and forth. We ignored it all. You know, it was an escape from all of it. That's why I liked it so much. You know. So, but now it's like I said on Casey's show on Friday. I said, you know, obviously we're all sad Derail went away, but even though Derail, as it was, may have died, now you have Drew doing his thing. Casey's doing his thing. Rose has got his stuff going. For a short time, Compton was doing his thing. So you've got even more shows. They may not be all together, but there's 4 times the content.
Right.
So, you know, it's not all bad. It's just different. And, you know, obviously that takes time to change and whatever, but, you know, you figure it out as you go. So.
Yeah, I quit mine because I kept getting copyright claims on it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's going to happen depending on the games you play, especially if it's got like background music. And like UFC games and wrestling games are going to have those, you know, the music soundtracks. You know.
Yeah, I was giving Casey shit.
Yeah.
I was giving Casey shit. I was like, Jesus Christ, you gave me a copyright claim for using fucking Amazing Grace of all songs.
Yeah.
You can run Amazing Grace. I think that's one of those copyright-free things.
But it was on the UFC game.
I think what got you was the songs that played over the title menus of that game, because you like regular rap songs and stuff play.
Yeah, that's why like people go on there and they'll turn the music off so that, you know, it avoids that problem.
See, my problem with that was if I did that on Road 96, you need to hear the people talking on that game to understand the storyline. If I muted all that, you wouldn't hear anything. You would just be lost in what I was doing.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to understand.
That sucks.
So I decided, all right, quickest way to do this, just fuck it.
Yeah, I think, like I said, but with the UFC though, where you were getting like regular songs that you would hear on the radio or playing them, that's why I said, oh, you're probably going to get struck on this thing. You know what I mean? But I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I avoid playing sports games on my channel, just so I don't have to worry about that nonsense. And if I do play music, I'll play like an indie band I listen to called Red Vox. They're like inspired by like bands like David Bowie and Pink Floyd and stuff like that. You know, I like his music and whatnot, and he posted out there like, go ahead, use my music in your streams. I like it. I don't care. And he'll actively change distributors and whatnot whenever they go after people for using his music in their videos and live streams. He'll go in there and he'll fire his distributor, and then he'll hire someone else whenever that happens.
Oh wow, that's cool. I mean, it's good that, you know, creators that are putting out stuff, you know, they're able to use somebody's good music. So,
Hey, all it is publicity if people use it.
Yeah.
100%.
That's why Nintendo finally gave in to let people do Let's Plays of their games, because they used to take them down all the time until around the time the Switch came out.
Yeah, we was talking about Casey and how we was surprised he didn't get struck down by using that Mario theme in his opener.
Oh, he does use that. Oh. Yeah, you know, he got lucky, I guess. You know, but
He sped it up. He was smart about it. He sped it up.
Yeah, well, because he sped it up too, so that helps the YouTube, you know, third party, you know, the copyright system. The automated copyright system won't detect it as easily because it's sped up.
So that's one time I can say, and I never thought I would say this.
Casey was smart.
That's one time that Casey is smart. Oh God, that hurt my soul saying that.
You know, you
Oh
figure
fuck.
Casey's been doing this video game content long enough to know probably what to do. You know,
But it hurts my soul saying those 3 words together.
right?
I felt that
be
deep in my
fair,
soul. Oh fuck.
we figured those 3 words don't get said very often. So.
Oh, I need Jesus after saying that. Holy shit.
You better wash your mouth out with soap there, Compton.
Oh, I know, right?
It's all good. It's, you know,
We give
it's,
Casey a lot of flack, but we love him. He's smarter.
That'll
He's
almost be like me saying Texas straight. Oh my god, that would hurt too.
we all know Casey's smarter than we let everybody out on to know.
See, you just said it. Don't you feel that pain in your soul?
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, Casey's. I've always considered Casey kind of like the Pee Wee Herman of the derailed family kind of thing. You know what I mean? He's like the dude, just weirdo over in the corner somewhere. You don't hate him, you gotta love him. So it's all good. But what you gonna do?
5 opponents at one go is a lot to overcome. Even using the most broken character in the game, I am struggling.
Most broken character?
Yeah, I'm using Rain. Rain has a projectile move where I can control where the opponent's character goes on the screen, and then I can set him up for a roundhouse kick and an uppercut, and the opponent doesn't block the projectile, so I can hit him with it every time.
Nice.
The AI doesn't block it because the AI wasn't coded to know how to. Let's just say this game wasn't tested very well before it came out.
You probably have it, but Mortal Kombat 10 or X, whatever, did you ever play that one?
I have it, yeah. I have the collector's edition for it.
The one with Leatherface and Jason Voorhees?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm going to play that one later tonight.
That's my favorite of the games, because, I didn't even have a system at the time, but a friend of mine did. And, we're all big, horror slasher fans, and we would play the crap out of those games back and forth. Freddy and Jason and Leatherface and whatever. So it's cool.
Yeah.
So are you ready for February 15th now, Tex?
February 15th. Oh, for Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna, whenever it gets closer, I'm gonna have to see which theaters near me are showing that, because I will be going to see that.
So they're not showing it, so it's not going to be like a major, massive theater release?
No, it's getting a one day event on Fathom through the theaters. Then it'll go to streaming somewhere. It's probably either Shudder or Screenbox, maybe even Netflix or something. I would guess Screenbox or Shudder if I had to guess. But no, it's just, as of right now, it's a one-day event on February the 15th. But if we can look at Terrifier 2 that just came out, it was supposed to be like a one weekend release. But it was so well received and people loved it that it got like 3 weeks nationwide in theaters. So it's possible that we get more of it in theaters, or it's just a one-day thing and it goes away. My gut tells me probably just a one-day thing.
Yeah.
But, this movie will not be good, but it will be amazing, if that makes any sense.
It's not going to be good, but it'll be amazing just for the content in itself.
Yes, it's... There are so many schlocky horror films of this variety and genre, but this one got so much attention because it's the first Winnie the Pooh horror film that's ever been made.
I'm surprised Disney's even allowing that to happen.
Well, they don't own the... It's because it's 100 years old or whatever, so legally it goes into public domain. That's the only reason they can do that.
Winnie the Pooh's been around that long?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Now, one thing that Disney does own is the character of Tigger from the Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
So you won't see Tigger in this new film, but you will get all the other aspects. So it's kind of like...
There's a chance there's subtle Easter eggs and hints pointed toward him.
The TSS says Casey is Rain Man if you really think about it.
I highly doubt you see if they were to allude to Tigger, then Disney could sue the pants off of it.
Not
You know,
even if they didn't say Tigger, they just dropped hints at him.
if I were making the film, I'd stay completely away from it. Like, the closest I would get would be like, oh yeah, well, we ate that orange tiger a week ago or something, and then I would just move on. But if you're only gonna allude to him in like a one sentence form, why even mention him whatsoever?
Yeah,
You know?
you're risking it for not much payoff.
It's right. I mean, what's, is the juice worth the squeeze, as they say. So, for me, if I'm going to do a Winnie the Pooh film, I'm going to focus it on Winnie the Pooh, because Tigger, if I can't use him, then I
Is
can't.
no use.
Right. Yeah, it does me no good. So, and it's only going to bring harm and legal issues and whatever. But I think the movie will be fun. I do think. I don't know. I've tried to look into details of this movie, and oddly enough, there's not much out there.
Sounds like they're wanting to keep it all hush hush, huh?
Right. So, normally by the time a movie comes out, if you look in the right places, you know the plot, the ending, and the plans for the next one before that one comes out. But this is, I like that it has that mystery element to it of, is Winnie the Pooh human in a mask? Because we see him like wearing clothes and it looks like he has hands, like human hands. I don't know. Or is he an animal that's morphing? I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions here, and I think it's going to be a fun watch. So I'll be checking it out for sure. So
Yeah, I'm not big. I'm not a huge horror fan. Like, I'm interested, in the video games here and there. My brother, my brother's a big horror guy. Like, if I ever showed you his living room, like, you'd probably praise him for the shit he's got.
I'm sure he has as much stuff as I do.
Probably. I mean, you might have more than him, but he's got a lot of shit in his living room, to the point where his roommate won't even go in the living room to like even converse with him, because she's terrified of clowns, and she's not like really big on horror. But
Right.
yeah, so I'm not really big on horror, and even I have an interest in this movie. So
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we talked about this a few weeks ago over on Frank's channel. Like, Jeremy, one of the co-hosts over there, his old lady loves Winnie the Pooh, but like the traditional version of Winnie the Pooh, not the murderer version, right?
right.
She was like giving this movie just cussing it like a dog, right? But I think a lot of people are going to go see this movie out of curiosity.
Oh, I'm sure.
That aren't just horror fans. They're more
Winnie the Pooh.
just, right. They're like, what did you do to my childhood? Like, I've got a friend of mine, and I sent her the trailer, and she loves Winnie the Pooh as well. She goes, oh my God, they're ruining my childhood. Jokingly, obviously.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that feel like that. So I think you're going to get a good chunk of folks that will go watch this just for curiosity's sake. So I don't know. I think it's going to be cool, though. I'm curious to see what they do with it. Just like with a movie like this, you really want them to not hold back. Because if they don't hold back, then it's going to be the best movie it can be. So, I don't know.
And if they hold back, that would ruin just about any opportunity they had of a possible sequel.
Well, technically, no. The way, from the looks of the trailer, it looks like this movie cost them $100 and a handshake to make it. Money. There's not a lot of money made for this movie, So I guarantee you they'll make back. This movie will be a financial success day one, just for how low the budget was. So, and then it'll get sold to some streaming service. There will probably be a sequel. Like, there's a lot of schlocky horror films, like The Evil, Bong movies. Evil Bong 1 through 6. Where literally it's a haunted bong that bad stuff happens around. They made 6 movies out of an evil bong. Okay?
Not
So
to Sharknado, how many of them there was?
they did 6 Sharknadoes, and I love every single one of them, even though the third one's my favorite. But there's a personal reason, and I just love, shark movies. But I'm a huge fan of the Sharknado films. But
Do they make a new one of those like every year for Shark Week?
no, it wasn't connected to Shark Week. It was just
That's how I've heard about it. Was through Shark Week on Netflix or whatever.
No, the Sharknado movies were made by Sci-Fi, not Discovery Channel or whatever the Shark Week. They were, they may have been released during Shark Week, but they weren't in conjunction with, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So they just, they put them out at the same time, so regular movie-going folks would think, oh, there's a Sharknado movie for Shark Week.
Yeah, I'm just saying because that's how I've heard of them, was through Shark Week.
Right. Yeah, they did. I believe they did 6, maybe 7. I can't remember exactly. But by the time they get to the last one, they time travel back in time to fight the first Sharknado, and Stonehenge is involved. It got way out the weeds. There's a market for films like these, and I mean, just another for instance, the people that made the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie, they're making a Peter Pan horror film.
Huh.
Hell yeah.
Why don't they just make a horror version of fucking everything Disney owns?
What was it? Peter Pan Neverland Nightmares or something, I think it's called. I think that's the title that I read. But yeah, no, Peter Pan's another one of those things that
Jesus Christ.
Right? So, yeah. I mean, they can do whatever they want.
Especially if it's public domain.
Well, that's the whole thing. TSS said the only horror series, or the only horror game series I like is Resident Evil. I'm a big fan of the original Resident Evil films, and even though they do not follow the story of the game, the story of Alice that they created for those movies, I love all 6 of those movies. They are like a guilty pleasure for me. I try to watch all 6 of those at least once a year, just because they're just fun. You know what I mean? And there's enough of the Resident Evil storyline within the movies that you can whatever. I know the most recent Resident Evil film it's basically the first 2 Resident Evil games that they've jammed together into a movie. It's not very good. It's too rushed. They're not very faithful to the characters. They made a Leon Kennedy kind of like this doofus kind of dude that it wasn't Leon Kennedy. So
I mean, most video game movies are pretty fucking terrible, so.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'd say the best one's probably the Sonic film with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, those were probably the best ones, yeah.
But even then, you've got Jim Carrey doesn't look anything like Dr. Robotnik.
No, he's like a skinny Robotnik, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, that it's weird that it's like, I think the last video game I played based off of a movie was Batman Begins. I don't know if you ever played that game or not, but it was basically the story of the Batman Begins film, just in video game form, and it was an alright playthrough. But it was one of those games you literally just played the story of the film, and then once you beat it, all you could go do is replay the story over again with a different costume or something.
Right.
It was one of those, once you beat it, you really never needed to touch it.
Yeah, I don't really play many video games based off of movies. Just doesn't seem very fun. If you watch the movie, chances are the movie's going to be better than the game is.
Well, one game that I actually loved based off of a movie was Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. and it was based off of the film. But what was cool about it was it wasn't so structured. Like, it was a 2-part game where half of the game you played as Obi-Wan, and then the other half you played as Anakin. Well, when you played as Anakin, you could make different choices. You didn't necessarily have to turn into Darth Vader. You could decide to still be a good guy with him. And it was a very interesting playthrough, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that game. I think I played that one on the Xbox, maybe. I'm not sure, but that one was pretty good. So there's a few good ones, not many, like you said, but here and there you find one. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I never played Silent Hill. I've seen the movie. Never played the game though.
I played that new Friday the 13th game.
I love that. That is so cool.
I know Tex is looking forward to the. I know Tex is looking forward to the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre.